and a couple other newspapers in the area. Not only that,
Sorry, Ed.
yes.
Would this be a good time to just segue into the marketing?
Well, actually, I wasn't going to do that because I think that probably everyone's heard quite a bit. But we're doing the things that need to be done. There was a supportive living manager that expected, that gave an analysis that you can expect 3 new residents per quarter. So that'd be 12 a year. That would be a conservative estimate, but I think we can do better than that. And the reason I think we can do better is because I've signed the managed care contracts to allow the state to assist us in bringing residents in. How quickly will that happen? I'm not sure. One of the things I have to let them know is we've got a facility that's underutilized. They don't know that right now. And they have some that are brimming with residents. And if they have people that are moving into managed Medicaid, then they're going to need a place to put them. I'll be meeting with the Robbins facility in a few weeks. This facility takes on people from age 22 to 64 with mental disorders. Well, one of the problems there is they're running the seniors that are in that facility out of the facility, and where are they going? Last week I met with St. Margaret's Hospital, and they have a guardian program for people that become incapacitated and they can't speak for themselves any longer. Well, they now need to know what resources they have over on this side of the state line when they get Illinois residents that are in that position in their hospital. I'll be meeting with them again tomorrow morning. But these are the things that we're doing every day. I know many of you seen me out in the community. We're deeply immersed in the community. In the last 4 months, that's what we've been doing. And we will continue to do that, working as hard as we can every day to try to change the situation. But it's not going to happen quickly.
Do you have a number of residents that you need there to call a break-even number so that it's not moving up?
We would really need to know how much you are spending, and we just started to get those figures of how much the village is spending.
Could you give us the bills though, or do they come directly to?
We don't know how much money the village.
Some bills come directly to the village hall, some bills go directly to the door.
How do you know the bill's accurate about them looking at it?
The bills that come here are the utility bills. The food service bills, for example, go there. They're the ones buying. The telephone bills, utility bills all come here. The day-to-day, we should look at
They
it.
should look at the utilities, because, it might be too high. They might say, they should
I'll
have.
be happy to send them over there.
With that being said, his expectation. We're looking at progress. We're looking at being very aggressive and seeing progress. And it's about accountability. And we entrusted in your management company. And we got high expectations. We can't do nothing to hold you guys accountable. Don't take this. We're stabbing at you. We got pressure on us from residents asking about the Dorchester, how far have we progressed. I think you guys been there for 6 months now.
3.5.
3.5?
3.5 months.
Oh, like 6.
Yeah, I think what we're all, and I thank you for saying that, I think what we're all suffering from is that the Dorchester has been run by a management company and it's been hands-off. There's been no comprehensive look at the budget, at what's going on. We can't find any of that anyplace. And so it's hard for us to have a handle on it, but we can get a handle on it. We have the revenues, so the best thing for us to do is probably send those over to the village and work with Angenique and Mr. Irvin and put together a comprehensive picture for everybody to have each month, if that would help, because I would want to be able to look at the progress as well, because we are trying to do everything possible that we see that could be a cost savings for both short term and long term.
And I even loud and clear, you guys are employed. Us being over you guys, it's up to us to give you the tools you need to be successful. We really need you guys to communicate back with us on what it is that you need, so we can help work in that direction, so we can get what we want. We want success over there, because if we don't see success, and I don't know if you guys see any light at the end of the tunnel. Do you think it's too much? Do you think it's something that just over the head. Should we be looking at another avenue? That's what we have to do up here. What we need to do was business. So you guys have to give us a good pullback on what it is that you need and what we can do to help. Because we have to keep it rolling. Right now, we almost at a standstill. I'm hearing numbers that saying 40 residents down to 38, back to 41, smaller numbers. Now, you guys in the tough business, they say you got big, that right next door, you can't even see it, so you're surrounded. So I guess it's a tug of war on getting resident. So,
And I think, as Trustee Smith says, we do have to give it some time. We have to give it the time. We're out there. We are doing the things necessary to make it what it needs to be. And there's been a lot of work, 24/7 to go into it, and we fought a lot of internal and external obstacles to try to make it work. And, you know, some of the questions that have been asked have to do with, you know, hirings and firings and policies and procedures and, you know, disciplinary issues that have really, you know, that could take all day, that hamper you from getting things accomplished. And you just cannot run a business, you know, when people are so belligerent that they just want to do what they want to do and, you know, no respect for authority and don't want to do what authority asks them to do. Those are very important issues to trying to raise the profile and get a job done. It really works the nerve of somebody that's trying to be productive.
So with all fairness to your management team and to us as a board, you guys need to let us know what we need to do so we can help get it to you. And if we get it to you, and we don't get numbers, then we need to look in another direction. Because if you're being given the tools and you're not doing anything with it, it's time to look in another direction. And too much, but maybe the interest may not be there. So because we need to make a decision on it. It is shown we are losing money. It's not you guys' fault. You came in and kind of throw some things together. But right now, we're steady losing money. So we need to get together, come to some sort of happy medium, moving the rock. Right now, we just in one spot.
My only request and last request is, if it's possible, the finance department, we have the revenues, you can give me an income, or give us an income statement each month, May, June, July, just each month, go over how much we lost. Then if you can update your financial plan, then maybe say, you know, we expect to lose $1 million in 2015, we expect to lose $900,000 in 2016. Just a complete, when you're gonna give us financial numbers, give us all, give us everything, complete picture. That's something I have. So I would like this to be updated. I like this to be updated. I like this page to be updated. To tell us what's our projected loss for 2015, 2016, 2017. Because you're asking for a 3-year contract. So tell us how much you expect us to lose, so we can hold you accountable for what you have. And then you can tell me how much we lost May, June, July, August, September, October.
We weren't here.
I mean, not May, but I mean, not so far. But I'm just saying, no, not. No, they have them upstairs.
Yeah, they have one.
Yeah, I mean, if they can, but you should have, I mean, they should.
Well,
We'll get with the
we know what their total revenues are because those checks are submitted here to the finance department, correct, Mr. Irvin?
They are deposited into an account that is managed by the village.
Okay, so we know the total amount of revenues that are deposited, correct?
Correct.
There's no other revenues that goes any other way, any other place other than that account.
Correct.
Okay, so we know on a monthly basis the total amount of revenue. As far as the expenses go, we know what the expenses are because we ultimately get the full bills. You may want to share the utility bills with them. Maybe they can shave off here or there, turn the lights up in this room or things like that, change the timers on systems like that to help with the expenses of the electric. But we already know this.
Well, I'm asking for, he cannot right now give me the solid numbers. Like the sheet he gave me, he said is not accurate. It was last minute. I want accurate numbers. I just want accurate, more accurate numbers.
Because I could not get to them May and June 5.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just
Going
take it.
forward it is, but it's never going to be current, as I said, I didn't explain it. because the payments from the state are lagging 60 days.
Right.
So your
So
revenue
it's gonna
stream is
fluctuate.
never going to be
The same.
minimum. Never. Rents will never be to the minimum, just like if anyone owns rental income properties. Some tenants pay on the first, some pay on the 9th, some pay on the 15th,
Some don't pay.
and some don't pay.
Yeah, but you know what the number is.
We know what the number is, we can show what should be, but we may not be able to give you the exact to the penny on November 1st, or October 1st, or December 1st, because you'll be lagging 2 to 3 months. But we can give you projections on what the income has been over the previous months.
I think what we need is a total breakdown like Robert asked for. The water, the use of the electric, the rooms, how many people's in the building, each one of them line items, so we've got it, and what the state is not paying can be in red or something, so we know what we're losing. Because if we don't know what we're losing, we don't know where we're at. And you can't go forward without knowing where you're at.
I think an important fact to look at, and I know it's comparing apples to oranges, according to what Trustee Smith is saying. The Dorchester has lost more than $1 million and close to $1 million over the last 10 years every year. I'm not saying it can't be turned around, we've had this discussion, but do we have the time to turn it around? That's the question this board has to ultimately
And
decide.
the money.
Well, that's what I meant by the time. I'm not quite as blunt as you were.
Well, it ain't putting people out.
My recommendation
It's
is.
filling these chairs full of residents and letting them decide what they want to do with their tax dollars.
I have not done it recently. When we were considering the opportunity of selling, I did look around to the 2 other properties that were mentioned. I think it should be noted that the property to the east and the one to the southwest of us are running the same occupancy rate the last time I checked. It seems to be a trend on the south side. I don't know why, I'm not that professional to give you the answer why, but the last time I looked, South Holland was running at about 48% occupancy. The one in Chicago Heights was at 44%, but again, that was 2.5, 3 months ago. I will double check on that, and I'll get you that report also, that it just could be this area. I don't know what it is. I think something what Mr. Thomas brought up was very important today. Let's be honest, if we had parents, would we want to put them in a facility that's 30 years old or one that's 10 years old? That's going to be a huge thing to overcome. We have to be able to offer those residents something way more than a newer building and newer amenities. The other thing, and then I'll stop, is that when we look at the grid that was presented, and I'm looking at it from a change the administrator's had to a business owner's head. When you start running just payrolls and marketing at 25% of your cost of your operation, that's a lot of money. That number in the real business world should be down around 10 or 12%. Those numbers of 170, 18, and 60, just so everybody understands, does not include any of the other employees' payroll, does not include food, maintenance, parts, snow plowing, water, electric, any of the utilities. Those normally run 30 to 33% of the business. So we'll get the exact numbers, that was just an overall statement. And then what I have coming back is Trustee Henyard is looking for a copy of the state report. Trustee Henyard is looking for exact numbers, just so we all are on the same page of exactly how many were hired or fired, rather than guessing at it tonight. Mr. Hunt wants, I guess the whole board wants, a monthly PL statement is what I'm calling it. Then we're looking for an overtime analysis the mayor asked for of payroll, and that I should have all the bills go over there for review, no matter what they are, before we go ahead and pay them. If I miss something, please make note, otherwise we'll get this to you in a timely fashion.
I think we all need all
With the
these.
bills, that was just my suggestion. They don't want to do it. I think that was just a suggestion from they should look at the bills.
No, that's,
Yeah,
there's no problem. It's not that
reasonable to let them look at the,
The problem we had before, and that's what we started originally, when they took over to get all the bills. Because unfortunately, the Dorchester bills were everywhere. We didn't know where they were, how they were, what they were. And then we get calls about, how come we didn't get paid for the last 6 months? Well, we haven't seen a bill. So we've consolidated them, but we'll even consolidate them. But
Stand on that report, because we have just, when you do that monthly report is done, because we have, if they bring in new residents or if they lose residents.
I think we should get all reports, like what Tiffany's getting, what Robert's getting, what the mayor's getting. Everybody should have the same reports, so everybody can make the right decisions. We can't have 1 or 2 people getting some information and not all information.
Well, one of the things we've been getting every month is this.
The bills.
Yeah, the cost and expense of running the operation.
But what's in this figure here is only the salaries of the administrative side of the project, not the employees that are working for the Dorchester. The other thing is, marketing is not always going to be the same cost. Every year things go up. Same thing with overhead. Overhead can change within a month. If you've got ground beef or ground chuck, those things all go up. So you've got your marketing all at, your overhead all at the same price of
the
$60,000.
corporate overhead, just for clarity, was their way of saying that's their insurance premium.
Oh, that's the insurance premium? That's not food.
No,
That's
food
not
was
in the
not
rent at all.
included in there. None of the accounts payable, everyday necessity items, from
So there's
food
lots
to
missing.
toilet paper is not on
They
there.
said they're gonna update this. They're gonna update this.
So another one of my concerns is, when you guys feed the staff, certain people can't have certain foods. What do y'all do about that? So I go to the Dorchester from time to time, and sometimes I see a resident, and they'll ask me a question. I just want to know, what do you do about that?
About what?
Feeding the residents. So say for instance, somebody can't have cheese, or they're allergic to fish, or whatever. How do we feed? What do you do?
There's generally, there's always 2 choices. And there's only been one time that we know of, and that was just recently brought to the chef's attention. I think they had pizza for dinner, and a resident complained that she can't eat cheese. And there wasn't another choice that she wanted.
Right.
But there's always been more than one choice, and that's the only time that we've had a complaint. So we discussed that, and I forgot what his solution was to that, but we took note of that. So.
Okay, well, I'm just asking, because when I hear stuff, I normally bring it to you guys.
Right.
Just like when I asked about the conference, everybody got so hostile about it.
About what now?
The conference, that you guys went out of town and the Dorchester wasn't managed.
I'm
not
sorry,
gonna throw
trustee,
people under the
you
bus.
said that when you hear things, you bring it
Bring it
to
to you
us?
guys, right, that's why
Are
I'm
you bringing
asking
it
the
to us
question.
in this forum, or do you bring it to us in private?
Thank you.
I'm asking you now.
I've never heard of that. You bring anything to us, you know, within normal business hours, but in this open forum here where we can look bad.
No, it's not about you looking bad, I'm just asking a question.
Oh, no, we're not gonna look bad.
No.
We're not gonna look bad.
I'm
I mean,
not
we're
trying to
working.
make you look bad, I'm just asking a question, and I
It
just
appears
want the
that-
answer, that's it.
It appears that somebody may be in the background feeding you information.
Like I said, if I
that,
hear about it, ain't nobody in the background.
Well, you know, feel free to give us a call anytime, but just to clarify that issue, it must be coming from disgruntled staff. With the Dorchester has never left without management, ever. That's my license, my liability on the line, I would never do that.
All I'm doing is just so we can clear the record.
Okay.
I'm just asking you questions, that's it.
Do you think there might be a
Please
better
feel
forum?
free to call us anytime,
And it
Trustee
go
Henry.
both ways, it go both ways.
You know,
guys should reach out to the
and whenever
residents.
people bring you those things, it would really be helpful because we waste a lot of time on non-productive kinds of things like that from staff who do not want to follow rules. Please ask the staff, did you go to them and ask them? Because we have an open door policy. And we have mandatory meetings with the staff, and we care about all the staff. If we didn't care about them, we would not have brought people full-time that were working full-time and not getting full-time benefits. I care about staff. Because happy staff means smiles on their faces, means getting our customer service together, means getting that organization together so that we can get residents in. I am tired of the mess.
I am too.
And we have to be tired enough of it that the trustees and the management company that you have hired work together. We're on your side, and I need you on mine. And the staff, you have to understand, do not like change. There are staff who do not like change and are going to fight anything you do, whether it's good or not. So feel free to call me anytime. My cell number is 708-466-2267. I'm always available 24 hours a day. And I welcome hearing anything that we need to do to change. But, you know, people want to capitalize on the petty, and that's what they're bringing in. Because they don't want to follow rules.
You're right, but you keep saying staff. Like I just told you, residents, and you just agreed to the chiefs, right? The people. That's my point. I was just asking a question.
Well, that one was fine, but the other one about staff, I'm very familiar with that issue because it's come up lately with two people.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
okay.
Also, if you're interested in buying a door, that's what we price. You ought to give it.
I think that's something that we did early on in my tenure here. That would be a topic for executive session to set the price.
No, I said she can tell us.
Oh, what she's offering, I'm sorry, I took it as.
Oh, I'm not going to offer.
I'm not gonna offer.
I'm not going to offer anything. You can tell me if you come up with a price.
I just want to say this to the board, when you take a look at the packages, they're very comprehensive as far as the mechanics of what's been done, the tactics, the marketing, timelines, it's in there. So we're definitely working hard to change the situation. We know it's frustrating, but the right things are being done. They're being done.
Has everybody said everything they need to say?
Yes, trustees.
Well, you know I'm upset. You know it. But I wholeheartedly have Ms. Genevieve staff, Bakari, and Ed. They came into that facility knowing already that that facility was in dire straits. And that's an understatement, saying that it was in dire straits. It was jacked up, and that's not really the word that would best describe it, but it was. It was totally messed up. There was a staff who, as I said before, just pretty much did whatever they wanted to do. I didn't learn until recently, as I've said before, the steps that it takes to get a senior in there, the correct steps that it takes to get a senior in that facility. Had there been correct steps taken before, a lot of them wouldn't have to leave. They would just let anyone in. Okay? That's just one thing. The things they're doing was never done before, and that's as far as marketing, trying to figure out some of the problems, how to correct them, and not just sitting on them. I'm sorry?
Hold on.
Thank you.
Mr.
Thank you. I understand your father was over there, and I appreciate the fact that you did put your father over there. Okay? But from what we've learned, this is being done correctly now. Okay? We had a state come in, and instead of just failing everything, it's up to where it's where it should be, and it's continuing to go in that same direction, upwardly mobile, instead of just there. We had our discussions, and like I said, I stand behind you all. Okay? You got to do what you have to do. And yes, there's going to be a lot of resistance. There's going to be a lot of people purposely and maliciously trying to upset the order of things so that we can get you out and get somebody in so people can come and do whatever they want to do instead of doing things correctly and in order. So I'm a little disappointed. I'm a little disappointed because that's where I end at. I'm a little disappointed, but not in you all. Thank you. Because people think that, 3 months is enough time to flip a dying business when it's not. It's enough time to start seeing what corrections need to be made so that you can continue to go in the direction of upwardly mobile again. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next thing on the agenda, Mr. Irvin.
Next thing on the agenda is Village of Dolton owned real estate. Trustee Henyard suggested this be on the topic for discussion. Everyone's aware of the fact that there has been an attempt to gather a number of properties to auction off. In doing the background investigation on the properties, and it's been brought up that there are large outstanding tax debts that are associated with each one of the 3 properties.
Correct.
It has been discussed by myself and Mr. Murphy that there is no right way to get rid of those tax burdens. They were inappropriately taken by the village. They weren't filed properly like they should have been. As I communicated with Trustee Hunt earlier today, the only possibility, I'm going to bounce it off, I have a meeting later this week with the South Suburban Land Bank and see if there's any way that by giving them the property that it would eliminate the taxes, but as Mr. Hunt said, nobody in their right mind is going to buy a property that's got a $25,000 tax bill on it. And that's what one of the properties has. I don't know if you wanted to add or if that's what you
Yeah.
wanted to say, or...
So, with that being said, Attorney Murphy stated a suggestion was to pay the taxes on the property. That way we can sell the properties and then put them back on the tax roll and then get the credit when it comes to the village. That was one suggestion we did make.
Well, I mean, we could definitely pay the taxes if we had the money, and right now we have an offer I sent to everyone this afternoon that I received for one of the properties. The person that made the offer didn't even mention the taxes, so I'm assuming he thinks the property itself is just worth $5,000. That's what he offered. So if I paid 20, I think that was about 25,000 and change,
We get $5,000
we would lose
back.
$20,000.
Right, you said because of the taxes, so you get the credit for the taxes.
We would never get the credit.
Why you saying that?
How would we get the credit?
That's what Mr. Murphy.
We would buy, we'd pay it.
Right, we're gonna pay it, but right
That's
now they're
not
trying to go
credit.
back and get the credit for all 3 properties. That's what they're working on now.
Not that I'm aware of, no. They were in
I think she
previous
means,
packets.
so we paid like the bill for 25,000, probably 3,000 is due to Dolton, so she's saying we're gonna get the 3,000 back. That's what, I mean, I think that's what you're saying, right? You're saying
That's
that's what probably John Murphy's saying, if we paid the tax bill.
Eventually you will
part
get your money
of-
back.
Part of the tax bill is ourselves and the school board and the water commission, it's different taxing bodies.
And long-term, I don't know because whether it's 5 years or 10 years, if it was back on the tax rolls, you'd think back that 20,000 that would take a
And
number of
Brad
years
did
to
it
get
just
back.
going to foreclosure again.
Yeah.
Mr. Kendall is here, so he can give his spiel on his bid to the board. If you wanna come up,
Do
Kendall?
we have, I'm sorry, before Mr. Kendall, when you can come up, Mr. Kendall, do we have the list of the village properties?
They were in previous packets that were discussed in those prior.
Previous packets. Which order?
Kendall.
I remember that.
Good evening, everyone. Several city council meetings ago, there were properties that were discussed that the village had had. I had the opportunity to look at all 3 properties. There was one that I saw that I think would be a good property. It needs a lot of work. I'm not sure, I didn't have any information on what the back taxes were. I presented a proposal for an amount based upon what the comps are and what the potential of renovating the property. I know it needs a roof. I know it needs HVAC unit in there. Don't know of any unforeseen things on the inside of the property, such as plumbing and things of that nature. So that's why I submitted my price based upon that. And talking with the neighbor next door, the property has been vacant, I believe, over 6 or 7 years. So it's sitting dormant. I think there's some potential there. Like I said, I don't know what the situation is with back taxes and things of that nature. So my proposal and my bid to this body is based upon what I've visually seen and things that I know that have to be repaired in there. And I've taken into consideration the inside, and also there's a lot of vandalism, there's a lot of broken windows that need to be repaired. So based upon that, that's why I came with the price that I did.
Which property is this again?
14732 Clark Street.
Stan, those numbers you gave us, they were actual numbers, or,
I received the tax numbers from Ms. Fields today.
and so we owe 20, I mean.
Over 25,600 and some dollars.
And the bill is written out to the village?
Village of Dolton. The papers were never filed away.
Can
We could
do
probably,
more research and figure out what other cities do when stuff like this happens?
what other cities do is exactly what this board did 2 weeks ago. They put a lien against a property. They have an agreement, handshake with the property owner. They know they're going to get a lien put against it, meaning we cut your grass, we picked up your garbage, we've got code enforcement tickets against your property. We present them with a deed in lieu of foreclosure. They agree to sign it. They give us the property. We go to the county. County, for whatever reasons, the way the statute is set up, wipe off all the taxes. That property on Ingo that you voted to take, deed in lieu of foreclosure 2 weeks ago, had $157,000 in taxes. They're gone, because it was done the right way. These properties were not. I'll refresh everyone's memory. Early on in my tenure, there was a trustee living in a village-owned property. The property was still, the tax bill was still in our name. It had over a $10,000 tax liability. We struck a deal with that, I'll use the word, squatter. You give us $1,000, you have the house, and you get the taxes. That's what we closed on that. We got it off the books. It's back on the tax rolls. Whether that person's going to pay the taxes, I don't know.
What does it cost us to go through the legal process to get the tax removed
On it, doing it the right way,
on an average?
like the one we just did, I haven't gotten exact bills. I don't think it would be over $600 or $700. Because it's basically a paper shuffle. It's nothing going to court or anything. I can get an exact number, I'm just guessing at that. I could call the attorneys tomorrow and ask. In talking to several attorneys, in the letter that I sent to the board last night, when I talked to Mr. Casper last night and this morning, Calumet City's doing the same thing, but they're doing it the right way. They're not just saying, come on in, give me your property, and then never report it. You inherit, as soon as you get that property, you've inherited everything to go with it. What you stop is going forward taxes, but prior administrations never took the time to even record the take with the county. So the taxes still keep coming to the village.
Audit costs, our costs, in regards to maintaining property, like cutting grass and board ducts, things like that.
It's costly. You know, the idea is that if you don't want to take a property unless you've got someplace to get rid of it, or unless you're accumulating properties for a land bank now, I mean the South Suburban, your own personal land bank for development. That's the only time you really want to take the property. We're not supposed to be in the real estate business.
So right now, we know it was reported wrong in the past, but did we make action as to correct?
Mr. Murphy is trying at this point to get from the date that we actually took it, to get those taxes that went forward eliminated. But I believe the date we took it was in 2010.
So it might be lower than 25,000.
No, the taxes from 2010 going back to $25,000. That's not including anything going forward.
Okay. Leslie, I think just to hear out whatever the board's suggestions were, or if anybody got a recommendation, pretty much.
So that one house is the highest one, 25,000?
Denise, you could help me with that.
Yes.
Remember, I think
It was.
one of them was 25, one was 9,000,
And the other one was 8-something.
8,000 something. And as I said, I'm meeting with the director of the land bank. If there is a way, I'm not going to make any decision, I'll come back to the board. There may be a way by giving it to them. It'd be similar to us getting it from someone else like we did that property on Ingram. They may be able to go to the county and say, do away with these taxes. I don't know. I'm thinking out of the box, but until I meet with the mayor Thursday, I won't know.
I'm looking at this right now on Redfin. It says for taxes for 2012, they were $5,000, $5,020.
Yeah.
How much are the taxes? Have they remained that amount, or have they?
I don't have the exact numbers in front of me. I can get those for you tomorrow from Mr. Murphy. Have they, you mean, have they progressively gone up each year?
I'm sure they've progressively gone up.
Okay.
But the last time they put anything on here as far as taxes go was 2012, and it was $5,000. So how much would they be now?
I don't have that number.
It was
We'll have to get that
5,000 in
from-
2009 as well.
Yeah. So they're pretty consistent because it's a vacant property, I'm assuming. But I can get those from Mr. Murphy tomorrow.
So are you
Because
saying
we
that
have several properties that are going to be very difficult to dispose of.
it's actually $40,000 taxes due on that property? 25 and
Give or
20
take,
maybe?
yeah, give or
So
take, yeah.
45,000.
No, it said 25.
But we could get 20.
25
It
is
said
what,
25 right now.
Yeah, but he said that's up to 2010.
that's up to 10, we would be able to wipe out everything from 10 forward.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So we can wipe out everything 10 forward,
Right.
but 10 back.
Okay. You can't go from the day that the deed was signed and voted on, that's what the county's going to accept as the date the village took possession.
So, excuse me, so do you know what our dilemma is right now, do you understand?
Yes.
We would actually have to pay $25,000 to be able to give you a house to get $5,000. And that's where we are now. They're just gonna look to see what other things we can do. But right now, I'm just gonna approach it. Well, it doesn't make too much sense to pay $25,000 to get $5,000. That's where we're at right now. I'm trying to figure out how we can waive the $25,000.
Trustee Henry, what happened to the auction process?
I'm still there. I'm still going through it. When people have a bid and they want to bring it in front of the board, I'm just giving them out. We can't auction them off if it has back taxes. We got to do something about the taxes first.
Well, we do and we don't. If we went with an online auction company, there is the remote possibility, very remote. Somebody
But
paid
you don't mind?
26,000.
No,
No, they have not been put online.
because the other property values in that area may substantiate a higher cost for the
No,
property.
the properties we're selling now today, they're $3,000 for a property. I'm telling you the amounts. It's like $3,000 for a property. 156th Street, 1451 East 156th Street went for $3,000.
From who sold it?
I don't have the name on here. The buyer is QCB Financial. That's the owner and the buyer. And that was February 11, 2014. I'm just giving you a
What's the
ballpark.
address? February 11th, when?
This year, 2014. 1451 East 156th Street. It went for $3,377.
That was the tax. What were the taxes on?
The tax is not on there. I don't know the tax levels on it. I'm just giving you a ballpark of how low our properties are going in our village.
Well, that has to be a rare case, because,
It's not. Here's another one. May 29th, 2014.
Okay.
A house, 14229 Woodlawn.
okay,
Okay, that one for $3,500.
worth 142.29.
14229 Woodlawn.
Denise,
Yes, sir.
what is your take on the houses that are going for? I mean, I've seen houses. There's a house on 8. It was 839. California sold for 130,000.
Correct. Trustee Henyard is speaking of, we maintain a listing of all the properties that are sold in the village. They start at 3,000 and they go up to 175. We've only sold one house this year for 175. This is just for 2014 to right now.
How many houses do you think out there? I watch the property every day.
Well, this is 311, and this is part of Trustee Henyard's update for housing is what she wanted today. So there are 311 sales from the beginning of the year to date, and they range from 3,000 to 175, and that's without the commercial properties that we've sold a couple this year as well.
What do you think the average is?
The average is about 59,000.
I'm saying those houses are rare, you know, for 3,000 out there. And a lot of times they buy it for the property, not the house. But I'd certainly like to look at the $3,000 house before we get 56th Street. Is that correct?
Okay, I'm a big novice with this. So if a house sells for 3,000, what are happening to the property taxes? Do they have, the people who buy the house, they don't have to buy off those taxes? They just get the house free and the taxes are just there, our responsibility? Please explain
No
it.
way,
They pay.
there's no way to tell. I mean, it could be one of many scenarios. Somebody was current on their taxes, they just wanted to get away from the property.
Right.
They took $3,000 and the people that bought it didn't have to pay any. That $3,000 sale could have been a foreclosure and that's all that was left on a mortgage. And the bank took $3,000 just to get it off of their books.
Right.
It could have been a great deal. We don't know. It was a transaction that took place back in February.
How
And short sales.
how do we
And a short
find out how do we find out
The circumstances of the sale?
Right, the circumstances of the sale to make sure that, you know, not only is somebody getting a home, that's great. If somebody is coming and moving into our community and they have a new home, they can start fresh with their family, whatever the case may be. But are we missing out on any kind of taxes? Are you sure? Because like you said,
We don't make the tax collection list as we discussed earlier. We are the receiver of taxes. The county, when someone buys a house, they come to the village, they get a tax stamp. We give them a stamp. They cannot close on that deal until they get a tax stamp.
okay.
They must record with the county that they bought it. We record with the county. Everybody knows it's back on the tax rolls. Or it was transferred from Sabrina Smith to Stan Urban. There's no way to get around not paying the taxes. Going forward from a sale.
Stan, do we know what other villages do for, in a case like this? Or do they not have houses that fell into this?
Robert, excuse me, I'm sorry, but Mr. Hunt had asked earlier, what do other villages do? I can call around, but I can assume they're doing it the right way, like what we did.
Yeah, but somebody's gonna be in this situation, so.
Oh, I'm sure every village out here has got a couple of, we'll call them dog properties that weren't handled right. What we have found in a short period of time is how to handle them right. So that we can take properties and do it the right way. Unfortunately, we got at least 3 of them out there that weren't done the right way. We had 4. We were able to get rid of one of them, so we're betting 25%. And that was the house that the ex-trustee was living in. That's back on the tax rolls of somebody else paying that.
But is there a possibility the state might have a program where they might wipe out the tax on a village-owned property?
The state doesn't handle taxes at all, real estate tax. That's strictly county and township.
What a county?
I don't have the connections at the county. I've never heard of anybody having
No,
anything
the
like
way
that.
you said that,
Only
it
if you
deeded into a
demolish it.
foreclosure and into
Legal
land bank.
foreclosure.
What was that? There was one other way.
You can take it if you demolish it. If there was, we had that fire,
Fast track.
a fast track where it can't be boarded up, there's a hole in the road. You don't even have to let the county, the resident, nobody know. You go and bulldoze it and take the property. That's really not a nice way to do business, considering somebody just had a fire and they may have been living in there, now you take the property.
Yeah,
But
you could
it
get
can't
away
be
with
done.
25 to 30 properties and then one person challenged you, which was a lawsuit. Okay, any other questions? Can we move forward?
What's the recommendation? So what's the plan
For,
for going forward with the village-owned properties? It's like we don't have no solution, we just want to move forward.
I mean, I don't know.
I think we need to find out if there's anything out there.
I don't think these are solutions. There's 2 things to look at. 1, my Thursday meeting with the landlady. 2, finding an online auction that we can list them and see if somebody will pay $25,000 for it. Maybe we don't want to lose 25, maybe we want to lose $2,000. You know, maybe that's something the board would want to direct me is, Yes, you have an offer of 5,000, that's an asking price, or an offer. Maybe the buyer is willing to go a little higher, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess one question, so we only had one offer so far on the houses so far? Maybe we should look at doing it online and just start the bid at $500 and whoever buys it is responsible for real estate taxes.
Do that, you could put a minimum and put a no bid, that they have to come in at X amount of dollars, otherwise we're not selling.
And you put a
But
reserve bid.
A reserve, thank you.
But wait, if we sell it, right now, the village has the bill for $25. If we sell it, when does the new buyer be responsible for the
Okay,
taxes?
you could put it out, maybe you're wording it right, I'm not. Pay us, if the number is 25,000, hypothetically, pay us $25,001 and you bought a house. That's off our tax, you don't have to worry about it. The tax bill will be paid, we'll pay it with the money we get, we deed it over, we made $1, and it's back on the tax roll.
Can't we deed it over with a tax lien?
Sure. Well,
Deed over what?
we did
With a
that.
tax lien?
We did that with Lamb, excuse me, the old trustee. We gave him the property, he paid us $1,000. He assumed the tax.
Yeah.
You can do that.
I would say,
I just need, where do you want to go with it? We can be creative.
I don't know how the other board feel, but I would say that we might need to put them online. Because it seems like we're not getting that many offers right now. And if we put online, let the seller know you are responsible.